Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm Mark Tody.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
Episode 54. We are approaching your age.
You're nowhere near my age, but that's all right. That's all right. Hey, I want to send a shout out. I'm using my Digging Deep to Live Well mug this morning, as I do every week for the podcast. This group is in Africa as we speak, putting the wells in. So, folks, you're doing great work in Africa. Keep it up. Everybody here is very proud of y'all.
I wonder, are they listening to the podcast while they're there?
Probably not.
No?
From what I've seen on Facebook,
They're
they
pretty
are
busy?
super busy. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So best of luck and safe travels to those folks. Coming up on episode number 54, probably the most famous person to come on the Parkland Podcast.
Been on national TV more than all of us put together.
I know. We will welcome in NBA referee Natalie Sago.
Yeah,
Looking
she's
forward
awesome.
to that interview. Also, Clint Price and Chastity Corbin will join us from Save a Lot of the Lead Belt as they get you ready for your picnic season.
4th of
your
July,
summer
baby.
Foods. Oh, yes. All coming up and so much more here on this week's edition of the Parkland Podcast. I want to thank our sponsors, Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Subway of the Parkland. Eat fresh. First State Community Bank, member FDIC. Save a Lot of the Lead Belt, Heimberger Construction and those Butler-built buildings, and, of course, the Farmington Water Park.
Open for business.
Yes. What'd you do this week, Mark Tody?
Went to my brother's house I went to my niece's church. She married a Baptist preacher, so I went to their church, and then I went to my brother's house. So I went to O'Fallon and St. Charles and back. Got to meet my beautiful, beautiful, great niece, Miss Emerson, and she is a joy to behold. And yes, she already loves me.
Of course. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah, well, I could make a list, that's for sure. But that was the highlight of my entire week, was just visiting with Miss Emerson and my brother and his wife.
I was about to say, so I'm curious about what your brother said about the podcast, because I'm sure it came up in conversation at some point.
He loves it. He's watched every episode.
I know he has.
He's watched every episode, thinks we're doing great with it, and he's the one that will tell us if we screw up.
Oh, yeah. Between him and Jacob Towers, I think they are both the official scorekeepers of the Parkland Pod. And we appreciate that, because I need the extra set of eyes. It's totally fine. Anything else cool happened to you?
No, really. That was the whole week. Just kind of recovered from last weekend and all my birthday stuff that I did. Thanks for all the birthday wishes, by the way.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yes, I did. I think somewhere around 600.
Wow, very, very
cool.
Nice. Yeah, no doubt about that. And hope you enjoyed that. Shout out to the Missouri State Mines Historic Site. That's where I went on Father's Day. The only negative I have was I accumulated quite a few chigger bites while walking around the facilities there. But that was so neat, and what a jewel we have in the area, especially if you're into history and into mining specifically. Such a neat museum there.
Yes,
and the staff was great.
Very much.
Great Father's Day. Enjoyed that with my family. We had Lucy's dance recital wrapped up, so her ballet season is over. Shout out to everybody with Ballet Arts in Farmington. They do such a wonderful job. And summer school wrapped up for Lucy, and on our way to her last day of summer school, I was in a fender bender.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Got hit by
Whose fault?
It was the person behind me.
Okay, good.
I was at the stop sign, and I'd come to a complete stop, which the wife's been on me lately because I haven't been stopping very well. Came to a complete stop, and then Lucy and I felt a jolt from behind, and a young driver rear-ended us. It was not. It was a love tap, definitely.
Didn't hurt the car?
Yeah, I have my bumper is got like a little paint scratch on it.
So no insurance involved?
No, I didn't even file a report. And this poor girl, you could tell when a teenager is, really, really worried and really, really scared. And she was, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably your first accident. She goes, no, it's my second. I'm like, oh no.
Today.
Yeah, so it ended up I knew her parents, which was great, and we pulled out of the intersection, got off to the side, and her stepdad came and looked at it, and he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, man, this is my van. If I fix the bumper, my car's going to look weirder because I'll have a nice bumper and a crappy rest of my car, so I'm not worried about it. And I could see the relief in his eyes because I've been there. I was in a lot of accidents when I first started driving, and in fact, I'll tell you one of the stories here because it's kind of local. I was working at Handicraft, the toy factory between in Bonne Terre, and on Fridays you got 45 minutes for lunch. So on Fridays, we'd usually, it was payday too, we'd go out and eat either at Deloge or Bonne Terre. So we beelined it to Deloge McDonald's, and there was quite a line of vehicles all approaching the Big River Bridge on Old 67. And apparently there was a young lady sunbathing in a bikini.
Sweet.
On the banks of the mighty Big River. And the leading car that was... I guess the first car in this big cavalcade of cars all running to Deloge to grab fast food quickly, decided to slam on the brakes and take a peek. And when that happened, the car in front of me slammed on their brakes. I slammed on my brakes. I was going too fast to come to a complete stop, and I started a chain reaction on the bridge.
Well, I'm not sure it was your fault, though, was it?
I didn't think it was, but because my car was the first one to inflict damage, that's how the insurance company saw it. And so I had to go through a insurance broker, and my poor old parents still remind me occasionally to this day about how much money it costs to insure me as a teenage driver.
I'd blame it on the girl in the bikini.
Well,
or the guy that stopped first.
The guy that stopped first, I think, was the offender in this situation. But anyways, I didn't feel like it was...
fenders.
The offender of the fenders. I didn't feel like that it was worth rolling with. But anyways, we summer school's over. Lucy had a great time. James is still rocking and rolling. I've been giving him little things to do each day. And then Jonas is loving high school. He is really fitting in well. Oh, he also got to be Kirby the Cardinal this
week.
Yeah, so he Coach Cunningham needed a last-minute fill-in, and Jonas was able to do that, and he helped out at the college and got a lot of pictures taken. So
good deal.
All right, trivia. Do you have any trivia for us?
Oh, do you want the trivia or the song lyrics? Which would you prefer?
Oh, how about I do the trivia here and then the song lyrics during our music segment? Is that okay?
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain has the record for most points in one game in professional basketball, 100.
Yes.
Who's second on the list?
Is it Kobe Bryant?
You tell me.
I think he's got like 81 or something.
Very good. That's exactly right on both counts.
All right.
All right. What rock and roll group has the most number one hits in the 1990s on the Billboard mainstream rock charts? In the 90s.
The 90s. Boy, Aerosmith had a pretty good run in the 90s with like Amazing Crazy Crying. Boy. I'm going to go with Aerosmith. That's probably not correct.
It's a pretty good guess, and, well, you're right on that count.
Yeah.
It is not correct. The answer would be Van Halen.
Van Halen? Really?
Van
So, like,
Halen.
Right Now and...
Yeah, there's like 8.
This must be... There were 8 Sammy Hagar number ones?
Yeah.
Dang.
So...
How are your feelings on Van Halen? Van Hagar, Van Roth, what do you...
I remember going to a concert, and David Lee Roth was there solo, Bad Company was performing, and David Lee Roth opened up, and he started playing a bunch of Van Halen hits, and he did the song, I think it's Panama. Where
Yeah.
I reached down
Between my
way down.
He's
I got
back.
so down,
Oh, no.
so down, so far down. That's when I saw Sammy Hagar, and
Uh-oh.
everybody was cheering and going crazy until they heard that. Then they started booing him.
Oh, no.
And they booed and booed, and he goes, "What's the matter, St. Louis? You don't get a good old-fashioned F-U." And they booed even harder.
Oh, yeah. Sammy's royalty in St.
Sammy
Louis.
is
man.
royalty in St. Louis. About half hour later, I run in to use the restroom, and there's two dudes in there, and they go, "I was really liking that show till he said that thing about Sammy Hagar. Then I didn't want anything to do with it." I mean, they did not like that at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, my other question.
Oh, yeah.
Scientists estimate there are 20 quadrillion of these in the world.
20 quadrillion?
Yes.
Oh, my. Ooh, 20 quadrillion insects.
Got to be more specific.
Got to be more specific, like a certain kind of insect?
Just more specific.
Fleas.
Ants.
Ants. Okay.
20
okay.
quadrillion ants
Makes sense.
in the world. So there you
we
go.
go.
A little trivia there.
All right. What about a totally awesome radio story? Anything awesome happened to you in your radio career you can recall?
Awesome? No, not really.
Yeah.
No, I don't have one today. I probably do. I just can't think of it. Did I tell the story about the girl at Country Days that said, "Are you Mark Toady?" She was like 7 years old, and I thought she was going to want my autograph.
No, go ahead. If you have, I don't recall, but Tom will let us know if you did.
Yeah, he probably will. She came up to me and said, "Are you Mark Toady?" And I was standing on the gazebo at Country Days. And she said, "Are you Mark Toady?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was waiting for her to say, "I listen to you on the radio every morning."
Right.
Or "Can I have your autograph?" or something like that. And she looked at me and she goes, "My mom says you should really wear a shirt when you cut your grass."
Oh, man.
Thank you. I don't know if she was worried about me getting a sunburn or I just didn't look that good without my shirt on. So either way.
There you go. A shirtless, totally awesome radio story.
There you go.
Hey, want to welcome back, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast again this summer, the Farmington Water Park. They were one of our very first sponsors a year ago, and they're back again, but it's the same old family fun that you have enjoyed for many, many years in Farmington.
And it really is family fun. Whether you just want to take a quick, leisurely trip down the lazy river, unless you want to stand underneath the big bucket and get doused when it tips over on you, or maybe take a few laps in the little lap pool that they have there, or just lounge on the side of the pool and watch the kiddos have fun and frolic in the water. It is an awesome, amazing place to be.
And kids 2 and under are free. 3 to 11 are $7.50, and $8.50 again is still the rate for ages of, let's see, it says 12 to 61. Mark, you can get that senior discount where you get $1 off your admittance into the ballpark.
Yeah, and don't forget about the splash pad either. That's there
free
as well. That is free.
Yeah.
Your kids will absolutely love it.
Always a good time, open 7 days a week.
And don't forget to call the Civic Center or City Hall and find out about renting out the water park for an after-hours party, too.
Man, having the water park all to yourself, unbelievable. Oh, too, don't forget about those special twilight rates.
Yep.
After 4 o'clock each day, they drop $1 off the admission in every group. So check it out, 756-0900. Follow them on Facebook just so you know for sure the water park is open on the days you're planning to go. But check it out, Farmington Water Park and the River's Edge Splash Pad, proud sponsors of the Parkland Podcast. Let's talk pharmacy. Parkland Pharmacy. They are at parklandrx.com. Small town pharmacy at their finest. They are so organized. They have so many great services. They're more than just a place to get your prescriptions, Mark Toady.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Julie Berghaus. She called me the other day and she goes, "What's that stuff that you like so much?" I said, "The Emergency." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm going to order some of that. You want me to get you some?" I said, "Absolutely." And she didn't have to do that, but that's the kind of great one-on-one customer service that they offer. They get to know their customers, what they like and who they are, and they will go the extra mile for them. So I love everything about that pharmacy, and that is why they are my hometown pharmacy.
Got to use two fingers if you want to scroll up or down.
I'm looking at their Facebook page while you were doing that.
ParklandRx.com is the website. Their delivery is fantastic, and all the special services they offer as well is really what makes them second to none. Check out Parkland Pharmacy today, the official pharmacy of the Parkland Podcast.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Here's your latest news on the Parkland Podcast.
A former Farmington teacher is behind bars after police found multiple pornographic videos of children on their phone. 36-year-old Erica Morton, last year's Teacher of the Year for Truman Elementary School, is charged with 10 Class B felonies of dealing with her possessing and sharing explicit videos featuring children under the age of 18. During an investigation with the Highway Patrol, Morton admitted to sharing videos with another person on the messenger app Kik. In those conversations, the former teacher admitted she knew the participants were underage. A letter released by the school district did not reveal the identity of Morton, only saying that the employee was no longer with the district. The letter also revealed that police believe that no Farmington students were filmed or exposed to the content. Class B felonies typically carry 5 to 15 years per charge.
Another round of opioid settlement money is coming to 6 area organizations. Close to $330,000 will go to the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department, the West County School District, the Mineral Area Drug Task Force, and the St. Francis County Community Partnership, also receiving funds.
A number of bills are sitting on the desk of Governor Mike Keogh awaiting his signature. One of the 28 bills include changes to Proposition A's paid leave and minimum wage. Others deal with free career and technical education for high school graduates, campaign finance charges, and extending certain tax credits. The governor has until July 14th to sign or veto legislation that passed this session. If he takes no action, the bills will automatically become law.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol graduated 28 new troopers this past week. The class includes 3 Parkland residents. Matthew Momot of Farmington will be assigned to Jefferson County. Rothman Harris III of Farmington will be assigned to St. Genevieve and Perry counties. And Tyler Deering of Park Hills will be assigned to Iron and Madison counties.
And a Deloge man has received the Missouri Team Member Award of Distinction for Public Service. Farmington Correctional Center Deputy Warden Travis Cruz was recognized by Governor Mike Keogh along with 15 other statewide employees at a special ceremony near Jefferson City. Cruz is also an alderman in Deloge.
And that's your latest news right here on the Parkland Podcast. The Friendly First is First State Community Bank. They stuck their name on a very big building in Farmington, and that's because they're all about the community.
Well, they put the community in First State Community Bank for that very, very reason. They are wonderful people. Shout out to Tanya Thomas, who is at every event
she's
there
all over.
is. And if she's not, Kristen Scooter is as well, or Andy Buchanan is. They are just some really good people. They have every financial service you could want. And you can kind of bundle when you go to First State Community Bank. You can get a home loan. You can start a checking account. You can start a savings account. You can get automobile insurance. You can get car or home insurance. You can do everything at one convenient location. And if you do that, you also get a little bit of a discount on what you pay because you're bundling. So definitely check out First State Community. We talk about all their community service, which is great. But when it comes to the business of banking, you know what? They're pretty good there, too.
They have all the tools. Find them online, fscb.com. The official bank of the Parkland Podcast is First State Community Bank, member FDIC. Let's check your events. They're presented by Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Hey, Mom's Cafe at the Methodist Church in Farmington offering up a free meal this Wednesday around 5:30.
Farmington Water Park presents Summer Bash, June 24th, 11 to 6, music, trivia, and pool games.
The Farmington Senior Center will host a car cruise-in June 27th from 10 to 2.
Memorial United Methodist Church in Farmington hosted a trivia night June 27th at 6 p.m.
The Space Museum and Grissom Center presents Show Me Sci-Fi Space 2025 June 28th in Bonne Terre. Cosplay contest, R2-D2 from Star Wars, B9 from Lost in Space, Hollywood creators, and more.
St. Joseph Parish Picnic, June 28th and 29th, Saturday, free concert with Fame and Fortune, the really good band starting at 6:30. Authentic Hispanic, Filipino, and barbecue food booths. And then on Sunday, the big fried chicken and kettle beef dinner. Live entertainment from noon to 5, the quilt raffle, flea market, greenhouse, silent auction, and so much more at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Farmington.
Lots of 4th of July activities coming up. The Bismarck Freedom Festival 2025. They have a softball tournament on July 3rd at 3. A glow run at 8:30, a July 4th parade at 10, volleyball tournament at 11, a car show at 11, the Freedom Fest at 4, Prince and Princess contest, sack race, hot dog eating contest, cornhole tournament, fireworks at 9:30.
There'll be fireworks over Farmington, July 4th. That starts 6 p.m. with musical entertainment at Engler Park.
And I believe there's also going to be music that day as well in Farmington. Our Audio Glow will perform at the Park Hill Sports Complex starting at 7 o'clock on July 4th.
And then on July 5th, check out Light Up the Sky. That's at Bonne Terre City Park. They'll have food and music and fireworks starting at dusk.
There's a downtown block party July 11th from 7 to 10 featuring Mountain Mischief, a free concert put on by Discover Farmington.
Disney's High School Musical, The Musical, July 17th through the 20th at Mineral Area College.
Dive-in movie featuring Jaws July 19th at the Farmington Water Park at 6:30.
Movies in the Park and Long Park in Farmington, July 24th. See E.T.
Chris Cagle performing at the St. Francis County Fair August 2nd as part of the 151st St. Francis County Fair.
And Blues, Brews, and Barbecue happening September 19th and 20th in downtown Farmington. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com has the complete lineup as well as how you can participate in the queuing contest. Find out about local events. Even book a wedding or day trip today at DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Save-A-Lots of the Lead Belt sponsoring the Parkland Podcast. Great place to feed your family at an affordable price. They had the big shindig and big sales for Father's Day, and a lot of those specials still around. And if you are looking to stock up for that barbecue coming up this summer, the best place to go is your local Save-A-Lot store.
It is grilling season, and they've got everything you need, from hamburgers to steaks to brats. It's all there. I was just at Save-A-Lot this past Thursday, picked up some hamburger buns, got some pickles, picked up some bananas. Whether you just want a few things or whether you just want to shop and stock up for the whole week, you'll love Save-A-Lot. It is a beautiful, clean store. The people are really friendly to deal with. If you have a question about where something's at, they are more than happy to take you aside and show you exactly where you need to go. Love shopping at Save A Lot.
Lead Belt Save A Lot. That's the one to like on Facebook to keep up to date with all the great specials. They also, of course, have those text alerts that go out. Seems like we get one every time we're recording. And those are always great ways to save money with those scratch-off cards.
Yeah, baby.
Check it out. Be a fan, be a liker, and a subscriber. Lead Belt Save A Lots. Like them today. Proud sponsor of the Parkland Podcast. This is the birthday segment on the Parkland Podcast, and these are the birthdays for the week of June the 23rd. Hey, let us know about somebody you know celebrating a birthday in the Parkland. Shoot us a message on Facebook, TikTok. You can email us, whatever form of communication is best for you, and please make sure you send that at least a week in advance because we do record these a good 7 to 10 days before they actually air. That way our clothes look cooler. Anyways, let's start with Monday, June 23rd. Who do you know that is celebrating a birthday that day, Mark Tody?
Well, I want to send out a belated birthday wish to Peyton Mucci. He turned 16.
Peyton is one of my students.
There you go. His 16th birthday
the mooch.
was last week.
All right.
That was a birthday wish from your grandma and your grandpa, by the way. We also want to say happy birthday to frequent guest of the podcast, Kevin Engler. Gee, is it Councilman Engler, Mayor Engler, State Rep Engler, State Senator Engler, County Clerk Engler, or just good old Kevin? Let's go with Kevin. Yeah, let's go with Kevin Kev. Kevin Engler,
Kev.
Happy birthday to you, buddy. Thanks for all your help with the podcast. Glinda Sadler.
Yes.
Celebrating a birthday, the better half.
Much better
half of Jack and Glinda Sadler. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Yes.
Carol Faircloth, happy birthday to you, young lady. That is from all of your family. And a gal I went to school with, Lisa Baker, celebrating a birthday on Monday. Lisa, you are one of my favorite people and definitely one of my favorite Eureka High School fellow graduates. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady.
Happy birthday, Rose Edwards, River Worship Center in Park Hills. Rose, an outstanding athlete in her time at North County, and her kids are amazing dancers. Oh, my gosh. Got to watch them in the big ballet arts performance a couple of weeks ago. Looks like you did a good job there, Rose. Happy birthday to you. And former student Gage Joplin celebrating a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Gage. Always proud of you, buddy. Hope you have a great day. What about Tuesday, June 24th?
Tuesday birthdays include our good buddy Andy Buchanan. Andy tells the best dad jokes in St. Francis County. You notice I didn't say good jokes.
No, that's what dad jokes are.
That's what dad jokes are all about. So happy birthday to you, Andy. He's one of the main dudes at First State Community Bank. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast. Happy birthday to a friend of ours, Twana Ward. Twana is, she's crazy, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, she
Love her to death. Played volleyball with her for a couple of years. Happy birthday.
Now she's in charge of keeping J.J. Vickers in line.
Yeah, well, that may be the toughest job yet. Happy birthday to Christy Roberts. Known her for a good long time. Christy, happy birthday wishes to you. I hope you're doing fabulous. And Catherine Lewis, been wishing her a happy birthday for a long time. Her daughter actually worked with us at the radio station for a while.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, Catherine. Hope it's a great day.
Happy birthday to Katie Orr. We need to get her on the show.
Absolutely.
Recent graduate of Missouri State. I think she's like in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, she's in
right
Europe
now,
somewhere, yes.
With mom and dad and little brother. Happy birthday, Katie. Hope it's a great day for you. Phyllis Ward, retired teacher at the Unitech Career Center. Happy birthday, Mrs. Ward. She was the computer teacher there for many, many years. Another Unitech Career Center teacher, the legendary Billy Smith. A lot of folks know him from his race car driving days, but now everybody's like flocking to his son Zane, who's a big-time celebrity now, probably more famous than his dad. But that's okay, Billy. Today is your day. Happy birthday, Billy. Miss working with you. You're a class act. And Tracy Burns of Bonne Terre. Tracy celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Tracy. I hope it's an awesome day for you. What about Wednesday, June 25th?
Wednesday. Speaking of living legends, Craig Gibbs.
Gibby.
Celebrate a birthday.
Hey, Gibby.
That Gibster. I've known Craig
Gibster.
since he was like a freshman in high school. He was
Right.
a member of the Farmington baseball team, played the infield. And
He's second baseman, right?
He was a second
That's what I
baseman.
think. He's got a second baseman's build.
Yeah, he does. He kind of looks like Farmington's version of Tommy Herr.
Yeah, I bet.
But happy birthday to you, Gibby. Hope you are doing well. Happy birthday wishes to one of our favorite people, Briley Palmer.
All right.
Briley, you're going to have such a good second year at SEMO this year. It's not even funny. She's got a full year of recruiting
Yeah.
under her belt, and she is going to just knock it out of the park. April Sirac celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. April has organized the Madison Iron County Relay for Life for the last umpteen years. She does a wonderful job. One of the few Relay for Life still going on in outstate Missouri. Happy birthday to you. Dwayne Lindsay goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church. Dwayne, happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you are doing good. Emily Brandenburg celebrating a birthday. Emily, you are awesome. Happy birthday to you from your sister Jody, who used to work at J98 Radio. And Ashley Davis at Parkland Health Center celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. Ashley, you are awesome to deal with. I hope you have a great day. That's from your two girls, your son and your husband and all your family.
Happy birthday, Mr. Koitzer. Scott Koitzer, a high school math teacher at Farmington High School, celebrating a birthday today. Hope it's a great day for you. Park Hills legend Michelle Richardson with a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Michelle. And a couple of my fellow North Countyans, Sammy Helms with a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Sammy. And Michelle Wallen celebrating a birthday on Wednesday as well. What about Thursday, June the 26th?
Thursday, Dana Oster. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady. She grew up with my buddy Brian, a.k.a. Rooster. And
the
boy,
Rooster.
that is a full-time job just keeping him out of trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think one person can do it. Happy birthday to you, though, Dana, from all your family, and Keely Williamson. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady, from all your family as well.
Heath Husky, M&A Products in Bonne Terre. Boy, Heath, you turned out really well, didn't you, buddy? Happy birthday to you. Hope it's a great day for you. Dooley Polite, the now retired Deloge Parks and Recreation Director, was at Park Hills for a long time, too. Happy birthday to him. Rick Whaley. I don't know why my family calls him Spunk, but they do.
Your family has a nickname for everyone.
They do. He recently moved to Deloge and is just amazed at how he goes and gets Taco Bell and it's still warm when he gets home. So happy birthday, Rick. I hope it's a great day for you. Retired local EMT for many, many years. And another Farmington High School math teacher celebrating a birthday this week. That's Mrs. Carr, Emily Carr, with a birthday on Thursday. Happy birthday to you. What about Friday, June 27th?
Happy birthday wishes to Sarah Kerr. She goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church in Farmington. She has two of the best kids that you will ever meet, Mr. Sawyer and Miss Aviana. Happy birthday to you from your husband and your kids and all of your family. Sarah Dement celebrates a birthday on Friday. I worked with Sarah for a whole bunch of years with the St. Francis County Relay for Life, and she is awesome.
Put a lot of work into that over the years, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She sure did. And happy birthday to a favorite. This is a girl we need to get on our podcast. We may need a beeper switch, I'm not sure, or a bleeper switch. Mia Gowan.
Oh, Mia.
Happy birthday to you,
Yeah.
Mia. I've known her since she was a teenager working at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, she got a little bit of a mouth on her, doesn't she?
She's spunky. Spunky, don't you know? You could see her at Butterfield Floors.
Yes, absolutely. Does a great job there. How about retired Park Hills City Administrator John Kennedy? We used to always joke about, what's your middle name, Frank, and all that stuff. But he's not a John F. He told us one time on the air. I can't remember. But John Kennedy, a great guy. I think he listens to the podcast, too. Happy birthday, sir. Hope it's a great day for you. And Heather McIntyre graduated with Heather back in 1994. Happy birthday, Heather. Hope you have a great day. What about Saturday, June 28th?
Saturday, Kim Collins Vote, celebrating a birthday. Way back in the day, we played volleyball together, and I'd take her and her girls out to Haunt State Park or Pickle Springs, and we would hike all the time. Kim, happy birthday to you from your husband and your girls and the grandkids. Nani Norman celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Nani, I just hope you're doing great, and I hope you have a great day. Miss Beth Dawn is how she's known on Facebook, but she's the daughter of Candy Henty.
Okay.
Over at the Chamber of Commerce. So Beth Zarcone, happy birthday wishes to you, young lady. Tish Lunsford, happy birthday wishes going out to you. And a longtime retired educator in the area, and I think she's from Deloge or Bonne Terre, Deb Aubuchon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Deb, happy birthday to you.
I'd have to consult the chart, but I believe she's a Bonne Terre Aubuchon.
Right.
But I'm not 100% on that, so maybe we'll get a lot of angry email. No, just kidding. Happy birthday Saturday to the slick one, Linda Polite, the better half of Dooley. Slick is celebrating a birthday on Saturday. Hope it's an awesome day for you. Tanya McKinney with the birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to Tanya. And Bethany Harnetts, I think is how you pronounce that. Happy birthday, Beth. Hope you have a great day. What about Sunday, June 29th?
The man, the myth, the legend, Charlie Berry.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, Charlie. Chuck Berry wishes he was Charlie Berry.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
They're not the same
buddy.
person?
Believe it or not. Charlie's a heck of a good guy.
Absolutely.
And he will help you out.
Yeah.
He'll give you the shirt off his back.
That's
if you
another
ask him.
guy that did a lot of work for the Relay for Life over the years, too.
He was the sound system
Yeah.
guy for every one that I could remember. Tim Bresnahan, brother of Vince Bresnahan, my longest friend, living friend in the area. I've known Vince since I was in the 8th grade, if that gives you.
Oh, okay.
So the better part of 50 plus
like
years.
he's your longest friend, like he's 7'2".
Oh,
or
no,
something.
he's shorter than me.
Oh, whoa.
But he's a heck of a good guy.
Awesome.
Tim, happy birthday to you. Larry McCormick, pilot in
Yeah.
the area. Happy birthday wishes to you.
Did you ever do the Country
Nope.
Days remote
Nope.
from the plane?
Nope. Never have, never will.
Why not?
You're not gonna.
Oh, that's
do
right.
that.
You're water. You're not the air. You're
yeah.
comfortable in the water, but not in the air.
Flyboy, happy birthday to you. That's all we'll say about that. And Brian Larimore, happy
Yeah.
birthday wishes to you, insurance guy. And before that, he was at Unico Bank. Happy birthday, Brian. Hope it's a great day.
And I got one more birthday to throw out there for Sunday, and that's for one of the nicest people you will ever meet in your entire life, and that is Farmington legend, Miller man, and friend to all, Mr. Darren Welch. Happy birthday, Darren. I hope you have the best day humanly possible. And those are your birthdays for the week of Monday, June 23rd. Subway, eat fresh. That is their moniker. That's what they do. I think the summertime is the best time for one of the cold cut sandwiches. They're light, they're not heavy, and oh my gosh, so many great options at your local Subway.
And you also get your choice of veggies to put on your sandwiches. So it's almost like you're getting a salad and a sandwich at the same time. And if you stop by the Farmington location, you'll see Brianna, you'll see Jessica, you'll see Heather. And if you're real lucky, you'll see Mike and Jake as well.
you're
But those
real
three,
lucky.
yeah, those three girls put the capital C into customer service. They are so wonderful. In fact, I just saw them today before I came over to record the podcast and picked up my Beast pepperoni, salami, turkey, ham, roast beef, provolone, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and more. It is a fabulous sandwich.
I need to start eating before we do this because my mouth is watering now.
Yeah, you'll get real hungry, and you'll get great customer service. I love their community involvement.
Yeah.
If there's something big going on in the area, Jake or Mike, one or the other, will say, yeah, what can we do to help? And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So check them out, Subway of the Parkland. They're in Farmington. They're in Park Hills in the downtown location. And they're in the Deloge the Deloge Walmart Supercenter, the Deloge Farmington Walmart Supercenter. Who knows? But anyway, see them at the Deloge Supercenter. Subway, eat fresh, sponsoring the podcast. Let's talk pharmacy. Parkland Pharmacy. They are at parklandrx.com. Small town pharmacy at their finest. They are so organized. They have so many great services they're more than just a place to get your prescriptions, Mark Toady.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Julie Berghaus. She called me the other day and she goes, "What's that stuff that you like so much?" I said, "The Emergency." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm going to order some of that. You want me to get you some?" I said, "Absolutely." And she didn't have to do that, but that's the kind of great one-on-one customer service that they offer. They get to know their customers, what they like and who they are, and they will go the extra mile for them. So I love everything about that pharmacy, and that is why they are my hometown pharmacy.
Got to use two fingers if you want to scroll up or down.
I'm looking at their Facebook page while you were doing that.
ParklandRx.com is the website. Their delivery is fantastic, and all the special services they offer as well is really what makes them second to none. Check out Parkland Pharmacy today, the official pharmacy of the Parkland Podcast.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Back on the Parkland Podcast, it is a pleasure to be joined here at the barn by NBA official Natalie Sago. Man, 8 years now in the league. Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's first of all, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. I've grown up listening to you guys on the radio. I've sat with you guys at games, being a little kid in the gym. But yeah, just completed year 7 going into year 8. So yeah, that saying time flies, that is really true. I'm starting to learn that in my older age, and but it's been an awesome 7 years so far, and just hopefully more good things to come.
Well, we should have prefaced this by saying Farmington High School graduate.
Yes.
And NBA referee Natalie Sago. As you mentioned, we've both known you since you were a little squirt. You used to come up to the broadcast booth when I was doing MAC basketball and hang out and put the headsets on. And I know you did some of the similar things with Jason, but man, how do you go from being this 6-year-old kid that was always in and around the gym, always around your dad, who is a legend when it comes to refereeing, to being an NBA referee? That's quite a story.
Mark, it's just, like you said, I grew up in the gym. I mean, I grew up in the gym, in a pumpkin seat. And if my brother and I wanted to see our dad, in the winter, he refereed 6 nights a week. And we had to Mom would take us to his games, and I was a sponge, I guess. I didn't really know that until I got older, but, I would take my scorebook with me everywhere I went, and I would keep score, and I would just sit and watch. And then, my dad developed so many relationships with other local referees around the area, and as well as coaches and athletic directors, and even to the score table people I met and, just had conversations with, and I wasn't shy. I talk to everybody in the gyms, but, I think that, watching my dad and all of his buddies growing up, watching them referee basketball and even football, it just really helped me to be where I am today. I truly believe that. So it's been awesome. Like those guys, I give a lot of credit to the local referees in my dad's group, and they know who they are. So I really appreciate all that.
So you, people know you as a basketball referee, and you played basketball at Farmington High School. You were part of a Final Four team, but you actually went to college on a different kind of athletic scholarship.
I did. I went to college. I played 4 years of college softball, started out at the JUCO and then finished at the Division II level. I get that question a lot, like, wait, I looked up your bio or Googled you and it said you played college softball. Like, how'd you get into refereeing NBA basketball? So that always, then I talk about my dad, and he refereed 35 years, and basketball is it truly is my first love. I was just more versatile in softball and, scholarships, and I got my education, paid for and worked hard in that. But, it always brings up for a good conversation when people like, wait, you played softball. How are you a basketball referee?
Was officiating something that you knew early on that you were going to do, or was it maybe I want to be an athlete, or I want to be in some sports related field? How early did you know that this was the career for you?
I love this question because officiating was nowhere close to being on my radar. Because like I said previously, growing up with my dad in the gym, I was a daddy's girl, and everybody yelled at him on a nightly basis. Yeah. Everyone yelled at him, and I was like, there's no way you can pay me to do this. And, after I graduated and got out of college and was done with college softball, and, my dad never pressured me to get into officiating either. So that was I appreciate that. And I just, one day, one of my friends that refereed the local AAU leagues around here in the winter, she asked me, she's like, hey, my partner couldn't make it today or something happened. Can you just come help fill in with me? And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But, I did. I went and did it. I told my dad about it. He was sitting right behind the score table. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I would blow my whistle, which is half the battle, teaching people to just put air in the whistle. But then I wouldn't do anything else after. I wouldn't point. I wouldn't put my fist up for a foul. I wasn't doing any. I was blowing it, but now you got to give the information. Well, so after that game, I was like, this is not for me. This is way too much pressure. All the people in the stands, 3 seconds, travel, just yelling at you. And I was like, this is too much pressure. And then I went back and tried it again later on, and I have no idea what happened, but something just clicked. And they couldn't get me out of that gym, and I refereed 8 AAU games that day. Went out of there with some cash, and I was like, hey, I went to my dad. I was like, Dad, maybe, I said, how do I do this like you did in high school? So we went through the process of, you got to go on the Misha website, sign up, pay the fee, take the test, and then the rest is history. Here I am.
So how did you work your way up to the NBA level? I know there are certain levels you have to go through.
Right. So, I get this question a lot too, because people are like, do you have a degree in that? And I'm like, no. Like, there's no, you don't go to college to be a referee. Even though now there are starting to be some courses where, if you want to learn to officiate, you can learn the rules or just the basic mechanics. So that's pretty cool. But my route was, I got signed up, started doing middle school, and then I got into high school around here, and then I would go to Cape, and I would go to St. Louis as well to get some more, just venture out and see more schools and teams and different styles of play. So I did middle school, high school, then I was doing a high school game one time, and some guy came up to me, and he's like, hey, have you ever thought about refereeing college basketball? And I was like, no. I said, I don't even know how to do it. So he's like, look, I'm going to send you the information. Basically, you go online, you sign up to these camps. So my first camp I went to was a JUCO, Division III, and NAIA camp. And, like the SLIAC and the AMC, which is NAIA, and then the Region 16 around here for JUCO. There was one assigner that assigned all 3 leagues. So you just go to a camp and you're refereeing AAU basketball or like the jamboree, the fall jamborees. You go referee that and you're being graded. There's instructors and clinicians there, and they grade you. So my first time I went and got hired, refereed 20 games my first college season in those 3 leagues. And then somebody was like, hey, you need to go to this Division II camp. So I was like, all right. So that was the GLVC, the MIAA. And then it just went from there. I got into a couple Division I leagues. I did work about 2 or 3 years Division I women's. The Atlantic 10, the Missouri Valley, and the Summit League were my top 3 Division I leagues. And then I worked 1 year at college basketball, 1 year at college basketball and the G League. Well, it was the D League, now the G League, which is the minor leagues of the NBA. They came and they found me. They saw me reffing a Division III game in Fontbonne because they have NBA referee scouts, which a lot of people don't know that. Like, there's scouts for players.
Right.
But there is specific people out there just going to these basketball tournaments and watching, just scouting referees. So, long story short, went to the D-League tryouts, got hired, worked 1 year in the developmental league, now known as the G League. And so in total, I worked 3 years in the D-League. Then I got hired in the WNBA, refereed 3 summers in the WNBA, and now I just completed my 7th year in the NBA.
Wow. What's the biggest assignment that you've had? Biggest, I guess, game, or was there like a part where you go, oh wow, I can't believe I'm doing this?
Yeah, I would say, because I mean, as you guys know, like Christmas Day is like our day.
Absolutely,
like it's the NBA day. I know football, NFL's creeping on us a little bit, but it's still considered like NBA Christmas Day. You wake up in the morning, that first game in New York starts at 11 a.m. The last game in Phoenix or LA starts at 8:30, 9 p.m. So my first Christmas Day game that I got assigned, that was a big deal to me, because, you know, growing up watching it every Christmas Day, I was like, wow, like, you know, there's some big time referees on these games. So that was I would say that was like my first really neat moment. And then the last 2 years, now that we have the NBA Cup, like the in-season tournament, the last 2 years I've been selected to work a quarterfinal game in the NBA Cup.
Good for you.
So then now the next goal is to get into the playoffs. So
Right.
we're on the up and up.
So you have to like maintain some decorum when you're out on the court, but at the same time, you're a fan of the game, and the first time you walk out on the floor with LeBron James, how do you balance all that out?
Right. No, it's definitely year one is you're a little starstruck, you know, and that's okay. That's accepted. But, you know, as soon as that ball goes up, it's time to go to work. You know, it's business. But I will give you, since you brought up LeBron, I'll give you guys a good story. My first time I had LeBron, it was in Memphis. Lakers played in Memphis, and, you know, we take the 3 game balls out from the locker room, and each a person on each team gets to select. They have to agree on a game ball and then a backup ball and then a third ball, just in case, you know, it goes into the stands and there's nacho cheese or beer that gets spilt on them. Then you got to trade the balls
has
out.
Probably happened.
Right, yeah. So we bring the balls out, you know, and I'm walking out on the court, and this is my first time. You know, I obviously know it's my first time going to meet him, and he's, you know, a legend in this league. And I walk out there, and he comes right to me, sees me holding the balls, and he walks right to me. I stick my hand out. I go to introduce myself, and he starts talking first, and he said, LeBron James, nice to meet you, Natalie. Welcome to the league.
He knew you by name.
He already knew my name and everything, and I really, you know, I commend him on that, because clearly he did his homework, and that's how you get respect, you know, in the league. And he has a young daughter, so we had a moment about that, you know, his daughter and everything. So that was I'll never forget that story, that's for sure. So
Wow.
yeah.
And you were part, I know at least once, and this has probably happened a few more times, an all-female NBA crew. That's something special, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, I'll a little correction. It was the first ever 2 females on one game.
Gotcha.
So, but still, no, it was a big deal, and that all 3 female crew. Hopefully it's going to happen soon, but we got to have a crew chief, because we go crew chief, referee, umpire.
Okay.
And you know that's how the assignments work, and we each 3 have that, you know, title as we step out onto the floor. So there's not a female referee yet. That's a crew chief yet. So, but hopefully that'll come. But yes, so Jenna Schroeder and I, she's from Detroit. We were a part of the first ever 2 females on one game. So that was really, it was really neat. The coaches, players, I didn't really know if people would really know about it or if it was going to be a thing. But when we walked on the court for the 15-minute warm-ups, they knew. Like, players were coming up to us, shaking our hands, congratulating us. When we went to throw the opening tip off, I was standing over by the table, and the head coach, he said something to me. He was like, hey, this is pretty awesome. Like, it was the Charlotte Hornets head coach. It was Charlotte at Orlando. And he's no longer with the team, but he made sure to say something to me, and like, this is really cool. He was like, my grandkids are watching this game tonight, because he had granddaughters. So that was, you know, I didn't really know how, you know, the public, if the public was going to know, or if the world, I had no idea. But there was so much media behind it. It became a really big thing. And now, I mean, I understand. It's really cool.
And it's you they chose to be a part of that.
Yes, it was. And I, to this day, I feel honored. It's awesome, for the young girls coming up, and just whether it's officiating or not, just in whatever they're doing, like everything, it's just so cool because vision is everything. They're out there. We're on TV with those two women, and all the young girls can see
You're
that.
a role model.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So when you've made a lot of new friends, you've probably met a lot of new people through this venture. When you bring them to the Parkland, what are some things that you like to show off, or maybe restaurants you like to go to, things like that?
Well, first of all, most of the time I have friends come visit in the summer because obviously in the
Right.
wintertime we're all busy.
A little busy, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we hit up a few golf courses. A lot of referees golf because we have a lot of time in the summer to, golf and hang out outside. Definitely 12 West. I always talk about like our famous steakhouse, if you
Yeah.
will, but that's our nice restaurant. So they all want to go there. Let's go to the nice restaurant. But then, I take them to like the old school, like I'll run them by Cousins or Sticks
Yeah,
and Steins,
there you
or
go.
Get a Huntsburger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huntsburger. I always talk about the dairy bar,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the local coffee shop, Cold Jack. We all drink coffee because our jobs it's a nighttime job,
Right.
And we're up late hours in the night, so a lot of us drink coffee. So I would say those are like the main things.
You don't just keep up with the new friends you've met in the NBA and through your officiating. You still have a really close relationship with a whole lot of your friends from high school, I know for sure.
Oh yeah. We actually have like a group chat, a text message chain that we all still talk on, and there's a couple different pods of them, like basketball teammates, softball, then just people we went to school with, in my class, and now they're all having kids, and it's neat to see them all grow up. But yeah, definitely keep in touch.
What do you think about Briley coaching at SEMO now? I mean, you're making strides,
Yeah.
being a female official in the NBA, Division I head coach. That's pretty impressive too.
Oh yeah, I'm super happy for her. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's kind of unheard of, somebody going from the JUCO ranks and just immediately getting,
Right.
well, not immediately. I mean, she put her work in. She was there 8-10 years,
Right.
And as an assistant and then the head coach. And so she put her work in, but it's pretty cool to see you go from a JUCO head coaching job right to a Division I head coaching job. And she's gonna do great things down there. I have no doubt. Last year was year one. They're gonna grow. It's always a growing year when you get a brand new head coach. She's got to learn the players. The players got to learn her style, and bringing in a new coaching staff and all of that. So when I'm on the road and I can't get down to a game, I'm always watching online. I bring my iPad everywhere, so I stream all the games. And if I'm home for 48 hours and they have a game either down in Cape or Lindenwood or somewhere close, I always try to make an effort to get there.
You talked earlier about how it bothered you that people would, say things about your dad when he's officiating. What have you heard said about you? Anything come to mind that we could? I guess that's airable.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, obviously the fans come first.
Yeah.
They, especially the courtside fans, and you hear them all. If we're going to review a play at the monitor at the
Right.
table, you see all the fans just staring at you, pointing, yelling. They say crazy stuff, but as referees, you have to have thick skin,
Yeah.
and you also have to understand that these people are rooting for one team. So my dad always told me, you're only ever going to be 50-50, sis. One team's going to like you, one team ain't, whatever you call, So I've heard, like, go back to the WNBA, that's a woman's league, you're in a man's league, just stuff like that. People cuss at you, but they don't know the rules either. So
Right.
you got to
Sure,
know
yeah.
that. They
Yeah.
have no idea the rules. If they got into our rule book or even tried to step out and ref on the floor, they would be, I think
lost.
it, oh yeah, it
Oh,
would
yeah.
be very humbling.
Yep.
And, but yeah, I hear some funny things, but I after games, if I hear something crazy, I'll call my mom and dad and be like, Dad, you'll never believe what I heard tonight or what somebody said. And we just laugh about it. You know, you got to laugh. You can't get mad because they don't know. You just got to let it go and on to the next game. And same with the players. Like, our league is pretty good for the most part, but you get in the heat of the moment.
Sure.
And, we get in the heat of the moment too. Sometimes we react quick and give a quick technical foul because we get into our feelings a little bit. I've done it, and it happens. But the players get, coming at you or whatever, and then you just learn. Like, that's what I've learned growing, coming up these 7 years, is you got to take a deep breath. You have to learn how to de-escalate situations, talk pro to pro, and just try to settle it. And if you can't settle it and they keep coming at you, then that's when you use your tool belt and you give a technical foul.
So guys like Draymond Green might make that a bit of a challenge on occasion?
Sometimes, but, we'll just leave that at there.
We talked about players. You mentioned the LeBron James story, but there's also celebrities galore that go to these NBA games. I think of Jack Nicholson. I think of Spike Lee. Have you been able to have any interactions with folks like that?
Oh, yeah. So speaking of Spike Lee, so my first year I had a game, and I had Dwayne Wade's last game in Madison Square Garden on his farewell tour. So if you want to add that to the list of neat games, and I didn't even know it at the time. It was going to be his last game there until it started getting closer to that date. And I was like, wait a minute, he's doing his farewell tour. This could be his last game in the Garden. So, and it was neat because I had actually flown my parents and my brother out that weekend because the St. Louis Blues played the New York Rangers on a Friday night. And then my game was Saturday night. So we went to the Blues game Friday night. Nice. Saturday night they went to my game, and that was that game. And Spike Lee, during a timeout, we stand at the free throw line like a little off of it. And Spike, where he sits right there across from the Knicks bench, first row. And he's like, Natalie. And, when we're out there, you could look us up. Like, our number is on our back, so you can type it in and get our name on Google or whatever. And so I look over, and I was like, holy crap, Spike Lee's, like, talking to me. And he was like, come here. So it was a timeout, so I walked over there. And you don't always do this, but, for him, I was like, my partner that was standing next to me, veteran referee, he was like, go. And I was like, all right. So I walked over there, and he just gave me, like, a fist bump. And he was like, I like your style, young lady. He was like, keep it up. And every time I go to New York, I have a Knicks game. Most of the time, there are some nights he's not, but most of the time he's been there. And he always says hi. He smiles. He says stuff throughout the game to me or whatever. Sure. So that's a cool one. And then I will say this year, I got to meet Kate Hudson and Will Ferrell at a Lakers game. Cool. So that was neat. They were just sitting courtside, and they just, I smiled at them, and they waved, and I waved, and so that was neat. And
I love your movies.
Yeah. And then I just thought of this, actually, Jason. I was on LeBron's game where he broke this all-time scoring record. Right. So, of course, there was celebrities all around, the court, and Denzel Washington was there that night. And we had just happened to be going off the court at halftime, right where the court splits on the edge to go through the tunnel, and he was standing right there. And he, on the way out, like, we were going to the locker room, and he gave me a fist bump, and I was like, holy cow, Denzel Washington just fist bumped me. Like, that's crazy, right? So yeah, there's some really neat. I mean, the job is grinding. It's hard. It's tough, but it has its fun. It's fun. I love it. I love the challenge every night. But there is some fun things that come with it, and some neat things and experiences that you're gonna live for the rest of your life and tell stories about.
This is not a job where once you're in. You probably get graded every year and critiqued, and you have to almost earn your way back every year.
100%, absolutely. We're only on a 1-year contract. I mean, it's every year we have a mid-year review. We have a beginning of the year review. We have a mid-year review, which is around All-Star break. And then we have an end-of-season review with our boss. And we are graded. We have an analytics team that we get every single game that we step out there. We are being reviewed, whether it's when you put air in the whistle and blow the whistle, when you don't blow the whistle, that's all being graded on. and then coaches and GMs rate us, and that all has a factor of getting into the playoffs. And just as you move up in your career, like I talked about, the crew chief, referee, umpire, and when you get to each level there. So yeah, it's a pretty serious job, and we don't just, some people just say, oh, after the game you guys just don't go back and drink beer and chop it up. And no, I mean, we do have some drinks, but like, we have film breakdown to do. We have assignments to do after games. We have very serious like business to do. Our job isn't over when that horn goes off at the end of the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. We have work to do. Like I said, we drink coffee because we don't get to lay our head down until almost 2-3 a.m. some nights, depending on if there was a lot of stuff that happened in the game, if there was any altercations, anything like that. So yeah, it's we are being graded and reviewed every single night.
Do you get a schedule in advance? Do you know like how many games you're going to do next season and like travel itinerary? How does that all get handed down to you?
Yeah, so we get our schedule month by month.
Okay.
So each month we know the next month's schedule. So that's kind of how it works. And you don't know, there's never a game number. Like you don't, at the beginning of the year, they don't say, oh, you're going to work 60 games this year, Natalie. That you don't get that. You just get your schedule month by month, and you go wherever they send you, you know, East Coast to West Coast and everywhere in between. We have a travel agency, and we get to pick our flights, and then we have an app that we get to do our flights and pick whatever flights we want. And then we have, they book our hotels for us. So a part of our union, we have a hotel list, like the top 3 hotels in each city that we like to stay in. And, you know, they go through and they book, they try to start with the first one. And if, you know, there's a huge event or a convention that same week or weekend we're in that city, then they bump it. But, yeah, so we don't have to worry about our hotels, but we do book our own flights.
This interview could go on another half an hour.
Oh, yes.
Easily.
This is awesome.
This is not just a job, it's a career. And we've talked before about moving up the ladder. But one of the reasons maybe you don't move up as fast as you can is there are guys, and I guess now gals, that have been officials in the NBA for 20, 30 years.
Yes, so we do have a very, you know, veteran-heavy staff, but there's a lot of younger people coming up because, you know, as like look at my dad and his buddies. You got to retire at some point. You can't keep running up and down the floor forever, and so. To your point about the playoff list and all that, like, you know, we have 75 referees on staff, but when that round one of the first round of the playoffs comes out, it gets condensed to 36 referees, and then 4 alternates. So you're talking 40 referees from 75, and it's a very hard list to make. I mean, we have guys in year 30, 33 years, you know, 27, 26, 20 years. And so, you know, like it'll come, but you know, it's a very hard list to make, and it's a lot of guys that are on that list, and now some women. It's a very respectable list, and people that, you know, you want to look up to and watch them work, because that's where I want to be eventually, you know, by the time the end of my career comes.
What can we do to get more young people excited about officiating? Because as with everything, there's a shortage, especially with officials. Because we see high school games now, football, they play some on Thursday nights, so we can kind of, you know, utilize the crews we have. What are some things that people can do to get more young people involved in officiating?
Yeah, I know there's a ton of all these young kids. I go to AAU games and they're trying to do the moves that the players do, and I know they're involved. They're watching these basketball games. I just think the adults, the parents, I think we just got to let them work. Mm-hmm. Like we're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
I mean, I'm an NBA referee, and I am not perfect. I am far from perfect. It's not about perfection. It's, you know, if you go out there and think you're going to be perfect every night, you're in the wrong business. What we say, our motto is, we want to strive for excellence. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so just let the young kids work and get their feet under them, because it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it took me, everybody, let me just put it this way, everybody's path is different. It's
right.
going to take me a certain amount of years, but it could take you more or less, and same for you, Mark. So just let the kids work, let it come. Like, you don't want to be jumping down their throat and screaming at them, because then they're going to be like, I don't want to do this. Like,
Right.
look what I said at the beginning of the interview. When my dad refereed, I sat in the stands and everybody yelled at him. And I'm like, there's no way, Mom, I can do that. I would never do what Dad does. I didn't know how he did it.
Right.
And then now, you know, I'm older. I've grown up. I've been into every single gym around this Parkland area and beyond. But I would just say, just give them a chance, you know. I mean, I just really think you got to let them learn. They got to grow, learn from your mistakes. Let them watch their film, see what they can do better. And just, the young kids just also ask questions. Like, all the young referees I see around here, I'm like, hit me up anytime. If you have any questions, if you want to watch film, I will gladly watch film with you and help you. But just ask questions, reach out, and for the parents, just let them work.
I'd be curious to ask about conditioning, because obviously you have to be in great shape. What's a typical Natalie Sago workout routine consist of?
For sure. So during the season, I mean, it's pretty much the same in the off season too, because I like to stay consistent. And I am a routine person. So during the season, I like to, you know, we do have to get our rest, because it's hard. Like, I try to get my 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because on the road, when we're traveling and we're getting on those planes, if we have 6 a.m. flights, we're up at 4, you know, we don't go to bed, like I said, till 2. So you're only getting a nap, you know. So we like to say it's the life of naps is what we live from September to April.
Right.
It's a life of naps. But on a typical day, I'll sleep in a little bit, you know, try to get my 7-8 hours. But sometimes we're so wired, I don't even get that when I try. Right. But I wake up and I'll, you know, eat a banana or something quick, and then I always want to work out in the morning. I'm a morning workout person, because if I don't work out in the morning, and then I get to doing other things, or we have our day of game meetings that we always have as a crew, the day of the game, morning of the game. Then we'll go to lunch. Some people do lunch, some people don't do lunch. Some people take naps, some people work out. It's just all three people on the crew could be very different. So, but for me, I wake up, I'll try to eat a little, go work out immediately, then I'll have a protein shake, and then usually we'll have our meeting, and then we go to lunch. Or if everybody doesn't want to go to lunch, I definitely go to lunch, and then just come back, and then I'll lay down. I'm a napper. I try to at least be laid down for about an hour and a half. Just even if I'm not sleeping, just resting. I'll have ESPN on or something. And then I'll get up, I'll shower, and get ready to go for the game.
So do you just do a light conditioning workout during the season, since you get so much exercise in the game? Right.
So I don't really run, or I walk a lot in the season, because my running comes at night, and we're out there running, 5 to 7 miles on a nightly basis. So, but I do like a 30 to 35 minute just dumbbells only, and I still do legs, because you got to keep your legs strong in order to keep your knees strong to do all the running that we do. So, and I still, we got to look good in our uniforms, and I got to look strong so I can keep up with the guys. But so I still lift. I do a lot of dumbbell work, a lot of banded work. So yeah, that's pretty much my routine and how I go about my workout.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. It's really interesting getting a behind-the-scenes look. I never would have imagined how the travel works or anything like that. That is so cool. And then, of course, anytime you get, Denzel Washington and Spike Lee giving you fist bumps, that's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow! Fantastic.
Awesome.
Mom and Dad doing well. Congratulations to your brother. He recently got married, right?
Yes. Mom and Dad are doing good. Dad's getting ready to go on a week fishing trip to Canada with some of his buddies. Yes, and thank you. Yes, brother got married a couple weekends ago in St. Louis. It was an awesome ceremony. Everything was great. All the family came in. Dad's family came from all out of state, and Mom's family drove up, and so it was awesome to have all of our favorite people there on a beautiful day.
If you want to see something impressive, see like a Sago family get-together at 12 West. They get the whole side room, and they fill it up. It was pretty cool to see.
And probably a little competitive in some things.
Oh, always. We don't go anywhere without some competition.
Yeah, we didn't really ask her about games of one-on-one with Stewart in the backyard. I'm guessing they got pretty testy.
Oh, yeah. Lots of bloody noses and black eyes. But you know what? It's partially my fault because I always wanted to play with the boys. But like I said, my brother and his buddies, like, they made me tough for, I really think, to do what I do today. So it was all worth it.
Good deal.
No doubt. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you guys. This was great.
Natalie Sago, MBA official and Farmington High School graduate, joining us here now on the Parkland Podcast.
Awesome.
That was great. I'm with you, Mark. I could sit here for another hour. We could talk.
Just talk sports,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
Exactly, yeah. But no, I mean, because with you guys, I can say more stuff like all.
Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com, 431-4387. Heimberger Construction has done some amazing work in not just the Parkland, but the region.
Yeah, they're all over the Midwest. They do high-quality work using the best materials. And best of all, you've got Jennifer Heimberger, who kind of headlines things and gears everything up. She'll sit with you. She'll find out what your plans are, what your wants are, what you're building toward, and she will get you the right products, the right building. So if you're adding on, if you're making a new addition, Heimberger Construction, they're the folks you want to see.
And they sell Butler buildings because they are the best metal building system on the market and the only building that has the pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. HeimbergerConstruction.com has all the examples locally of the great work that they have done, and the list just keeps growing and growing. If you need construction work done, you need to contact Heimberger Construction today since 1978. Again, learn more at HeimbergerConstruction.com.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Hey, want to welcome back, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast again this summer, the Farmington Water Park. They were one of our very first sponsors a year ago, and they're back again, but it's the same old family fun that you have enjoyed for many, many years in Farmington.
And it really is family fun. Whether you just want to take a quick, leisurely trip down the lazy river, unless you want to stand underneath the big bucket and get doused when it when it tips over on you, or maybe take a few laps in the little lap pool that they have there, or just lounge on the side of the pool and watch the kiddos have fun and frolic in the water. It is an awesome, amazing place to be.
And kids 2 and under are free. 3 to 11 are $7.50, and $8.50 again is still the rate for ages of let's see, it says 12 to 61. Mark, you can get that senior discount where you get $1 off your admittance into the ballpark.
Yeah, and don't forget about the splash pad either. That's there
free
as well. That is free.
Yeah.
Your kids will absolutely love it.
Always a good time, open 7 days a week.
And don't forget to call the Civic Center or City Hall and find out about renting out the water park for an after-hours party, too.
Man, having the water park all to yourself, unbelievable. Oh, too, don't forget about those special twilight rates.
Yep.
After 4 o'clock each day, they drop $1 off the admission in every group. So check it out, 756-0900. Follow them on Facebook just so you know for sure the water park is open on the days you're planning to go. But check it out, Farmington Water Park and the River's Edge Splash Pad, proud sponsors of the Parkland Podcast. Let's visit now with Chastity Corbin. She is with Strategic Marketing. She's going to tell us a little bit about what she does and how you can market your business, especially in the world of podcasting. Chastity, always good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Great.
You have such a diverse background when it comes to marketing and the media. Take us through your years with the media.
Sure. Okay. Well, I started with you at J98 in 1999.
You were just 7 at the time.
I was right. That's it. We won't tell the truth on that. It give me quite a few years there. I think you gave me a couple decades, but okay. Yeah, I was in my early 20s. Started at J98. I actually started in the CSR department, so I started with phone sales back in the day with Chuck Odell. Yeah. Right. And then about 3 months later, I got promoted to outside sales, and I did that for quite a while. I think I was there a year, 2 years. My mom got sick, so I left for a minute, you know what I mean, because she got sick, and we thought we were going to lose her. We didn't, thank God, right then. And then from there, whenever I was going to come back, Froggy 96 started recruiting me. So I gave that a shot. Worked there for, I think, 3 years with Fred. And then in 2004, I decided I wanted to kind of grow my career and make a change. And I stayed in this area, but I went to work for WIL out of St. Louis. So that was kind of the brink of looking at advertising different, because you had small town radio and all the community stuff that we did, you know, blood drives and how we're out on the street all the time. Then you go to someplace like St. Louis and you work with WIL, and we had just hired, I think WIL had hired like cornbread, you know what I mean?
Right.
So when you go out on the street, those guys aren't out all the time. So they're like celebrities, you know what I mean? I'd have clients, whenever I took off really fast there, I loved it. You'd have clients that would call you and be like, well, why didn't you send over my ad rate so I could, you know, book more people for my phones? It was because the mass reach, you know, just had a crazy weird impact on it. So it was really, really phenomenal there. We went through, like, we were trained by Center for Sales Strategy, you know, how to really negotiate, like really look at marketing strategies, and really kind of like a win-win advertising campaign. So, and that was on the brink of probably like when websites started being built and we were starting to, you know what I mean, work with clients on not just broadcast, but web banners and, you know what I mean? So you were getting into more non-traditional revenues around that time. I was there till 2006, and I had gotten married. My ex-husband's a trooper. He wanted to move down south to Troop G. So I had a call actually from one of the big stations down there. His son was a trooper up here and knew we were moving down. So they called and said, hey, we want you to come in and work for, you know, for us. But my old sales manager, Connie Pfeiffer, had went down there and was running the alternate group. And Connie is the one who recruited me into radio. I was actually in college for psychology and waiting tables at Spokes back in the day. And I just, out of loyalty, I went with Connie. So Connie and I worked together for quite a few years down there, small market, the same. But after kind of being in small market and then seeing what large market did, I had learned so much in co-op and, you know what I mean? Like if you're looking at different like KPIs and you know what I mean? So performance indicators of a campaign, you know, how to track return on investment. So that's when I kind of branched off and opened my own agency. So I took like some of the larger businesses down there, like the big feed and farm stores, and then I was the racetrack, and I had a slew of them, and I had done that. I started doing concerts, you know, and I even was hired by a radio station, but not to work for them, but as their, you know, kind of like an agency to kind of help with their shows and, you know what I mean, train their salespeople, come in and talk about different marketing strategies and sponsorships for shows. And I did that for quite a few years. Absolutely loved it, but everything was developing then. So, you know, I went from St. Louis down south. And then as I was branching off into the agencies, that's when social medias were launching. So, you know, I was starting social media pages, and everyone was like, oh, it's a fad. It'll go away. You don't have to do it. And we're like, it's not going to go away. You know what I mean? They had to be there. But it was the cusp of that's when businesses were starting to, you know what I mean, to do that. So I just was one of those that I love to learn. I'm kind of a nerd. I love history. I love God and religion. And I love, you know what I mean? I would love to learn. So I just started learning and reading and training everything I could on, you know, anything to do with social medias and what they expect, you know, how Googles are going to work, you know, how search engines were working and different ads, and ran a good agency, and then was going to go, kind of went through a divorce, have some whole drama in there. That'll be in the book anyway. We don't talk about all that right now. It's some good fun stuff. You want some good drama, the ups, the downs, all of it. Anyways, I ended up coming back home, coming back this way, and was offered a job, I think, in 2019 to go to iHeart. And so iHeart Media is, the largest media company in the nation, and they pretty much work with everybody. So I come in thinking, oh, I know digital, you know what I mean? I'm a rock star in radio. I ran an agency. I got in there, and all I could do is just attach to the VP of digital sales, because the knowledge was so intense, how they do these tracking, what I mean, what kind of audience targeting was out there, behavior targeting. You can literally target a certain location by blueprint and then track if they go into your location after the fact. You know what I mean? Amazon, using Amazon shopper data targeting. And the world is vast. So they worked with all the social medias, all the Amazons, you know what I mean, and 80, 90 products. So really, I loved going in and helping a client solve a problem, because you can sell ads, but then you can actually sell real strategies and ideas and goals to clients, is what I looked at there. Totally different in the sense of trying to just solve the problems that they're trying to achieve, and then find ways to track those. Media had went through this weird, you know what I mean? Back in the day when I started, it was radio, TV, billboard, newspaper, and then all of a sudden you have websites, then you have socials, now you've got Googles, now everybody's running from mass media over here to digital media, and you're watching businesses literally target themselves out of market share. So they went so digital because they could track it. Well, I see how many people click, I see how many people do this, I see how many people do that. But that wasn't the whole picture. And then you watch big mass companies like a Procter & Gamble come back to mass radio because they were targeting themselves out of market share. You know what I mean? You can target moms with 2 kids all day long, and it's great. But you still need a big awareness umbrella. What about all those 25-year-old men? Or, you know what I mean? They do laundry, single women. There was a whole slew of audience. So I really just really dove down in my training to become, you know what I mean, like a digital specialist, but also integrated into mass, you know what I mean, mass media, and how that integrates in, and how to track those campaigns. And then, of course, with iHeart, in 2019, they had launched Podcast Network. So that was still kind of they had been out there, but it was still a definitely new era for businesses to advertise with podcasts.
Sure.
So I'm a big research nerd, and in large market, you get a ton of research. So you get brain study data. You understand how people connect to different ads, and you know what I mean, and the engagements. And the one thing you see with something like podcasts, like you guys, is the fact that you have a much higher recall. You have a very loyal audience. I think 63% of people that listen to podcasts, I think that's the exact number, actually say they've bought something from a podcast. It's got a different take on it. They're more engaged. They don't want to fast forward through it sometimes like they would with other things, because they don't want to miss part of their show, so they have to go back. They look at you host as friends, so they, you know what I mean? They take your word for it, and they kind of, are skewed a little bit by what that friend in the passenger seat says. And that's what broadcast radio still is well. So I think it's just more my passion for media and advertising. But when you really break it down, marketing and advertising, they always say it's like a combination of math and science, or math and magic, or science and art. You have to really look at who you're trying to target, but how you're going to engage them. And people are over inundated today. And advertisers are, sitting here going, okay, there's 10 social medias, there's streaming radio, broadcast radio, streaming TV, you know what I mean? How do I get on Hulu? But should I be on, you know what I mean? The broadcast television. So I love coming in and helping them from the ground up figure that out, and then how we track that progress, because so many advertisers come in and they'll say, oh, I tried this and it didn't work. You've heard that. You've been in radio a long time, Mark, that they say a lot of times, oh, I tried radio, it didn't work, but it does. Radio works, you know what I mean? It's just a tool like a miter saw. It has to be used a certain way, you know what I mean? And what capacities are you tracking? What is your messaging that gets people listening and connecting to your ad for a recall? So there's a place for everything.
So you kind of buried the lead here, though. That was a great description of everything, but that all led you to where you are today. You have your own business.
I do, and that was a hard take. Like, I had joined our fair board about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was out working with local clients instead of all my big clients at iHeart. I still work with them, but I was working, this is my volunteer time. Everybody has a volunteer project. And what I was seeing is local businesses really needing help understanding how to get their business in front of people and grow their sales. And so I just started praying about it, and I really felt like God was leading me to do it, and I probably took longer than what I was supposed to. Like, I felt it coming. You know how there's things leading you and leading you and leading you. And finally I was like, Lord, if I'm going to make the jump, because I ran a successful agency before, but it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you have to get out and help businesses understand marketing and advertising. And some of them do, but they have like one piece of the puzzle. Mm-hmm. So, it took me a second to really say, okay, is this, I'm ready to bite the bullet, but I just felt really led to just work with my own community businesses and see what we can do to grow I love my area. So moving back home, I love Farmington. I love the region. You know what I mean? I love that I'm 25 minutes from, hiking or, water and all of these things. So I'm real passionate about this area, and so I'm really passionate about these local businesses, and they can't hire big marketing strategists to come in, and they can't, they don't have Nielsen data or all this Scarborough data or things that, brain study information in front of them to know what to do. And it's actually, I love it. I love when I can sit down and they see it and they start growing and they get excited as well. So that's where I'm at and why.
What's the name of your company?
Strategic Marketing and Events. And you can see my logos like a compass and a chess piece and everything like that, because it all starts with strategy. Okay. That's it. Marketing starts with a strategy. You have to sit down and say, okay, how's my web health? You know what I mean?
Right.
Can they find me online? Do I have an awareness? Like, Google ads, great, but if you're not recognized when you pop up, even if you're paid, it don't mean they're going to choose you first. So it's really about coming in and helping them dissect, their socials and their goals there, but really merging who their identity is and putting it in front of people and helping them tell their story and helping consumers understand why they want to work with this business.
I know people would say to me back when I was in radio, well, what are the ratings? How many people are listening? Do you know? And we're like, no, we really don't, because we're not in a major market. And I'm sure as a salesperson, that was a question that you always faced. Mm-hmm. And how did you explain that? Because it's still like this today. Yeah. You can't go and say, okay, how many people are listening to J98 or B104 or Froggy or whatever? That is not measured in our area. So how would you tell potential advertisers back in the day about how it would work when they asked that question?
Yeah, we didn't have ratings back in the day. Now we actually are, for Nielsen data, and have been always, even when it was Arbitron. This area is rated. It's just not rated like metro areas.
Right.
So
it's thrown in with St. Louis, right?
Yep. It's different. It is called a TSA market.
Okay.
So it's you got like your the regular main market. Then you got a TSA market, which is your total survey area. So it's only ranked in what you call a spring and a fall book. So you can pull ratings for this area.
Really?
But you cannot get them like monthly or quarterly or weekly like you would for a major metro area.
Sure.
For a DMA. However, you can get a view. Back in the day, though, when I was with WL, for instance, there wasn't enough books in this area to actually have a good rating. You'd have to couple like our counties together.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
In today's world, you can. I can pull those ratings. You know what I mean? But you have to be able, like the local stations don't have it because they don't subscribe, but they're only ranked twice a year. So it's not necessarily always a full picture. All of it is kind of projections. You take a look, you have an idea. But before I knew anything about ratings, the reality is everybody has their audience, and it's really taking a look at what you can do with the audience those people have and making sure you're spending the right budget with that audience. And then also what you're saying to them and when you're saying it to them. All of that matters, and so it's about what time are you running? When are you in front of that customer? Is it when they're driving home? Are they on their way to the grocery store? Are they, you know what I mean? It's Friday afternoon, and what are they planning for the weekend? Or, time matters. So
Shameless self-plugging here. Something you said earlier on. Podcasts are definitely the way to go now, right?
yeah, well, it is definitely a piece of the puzzle. I think you need to have a variety of different strategies. So you start in a place, you make sure your online presence is there. You add, so one of the recent studies is last year popped out is 33% of everybody's day. 33% is audio consumption. So when you look at medias, there's digital consumption at 39%, TV at 24%, and audio at 33%. So if you got to realize if the general population is consuming audio 33% of their day, yes, you need to be in front of them. That does combine broadcast radio, podcasting, and streaming, but podcast does outrank streaming radio, and a lot of people don't realize that. I sit with people all day long, and they're like, well, I want to be on these streaming platforms. I'm like, we can put you there 100%, but also remember it's this percentage of the puzzle. So you can't just do streaming over broadcast and podcast,
right?
Because you might hit 8% of that audio, listenership, where you gotta, if you couple them together, you can reach that whole 33%. And that's what people don't realize either when looking at their budgets is they're spending 100% of their budget in digital or social, when only 39% of media consumption every day is actually those socials. Now, people seem like you live on them, but ratings are counted different like that. Podcast listenership is based on downloads. It's something more solid. Nielsen, if you're listening to radio, it's based on, it used to be 5-minute increments of listenership. Now it's 3. But social, it's counted as an impression in 2 seconds.
Right.
So even if you've scrolled through, how many people when you're on your phone are you actually truly engaged, or is it kind of a second thing?
Yeah.
You just kind of over here. So not saying don't be there,
Right.
but you know what I mean? You shouldn't be spending more than 38% of your budget in social. You got to really take a look at where these, where people are consuming their information every day.
Where is your office, and how does somebody schedule an appointment with you?
Okay, I am on Columbia Street, so 202 West Columbia. I am next to City Hall. They can call me on my cell phone. I can give you that number, 573-518-4411. Or they can email me at chastity@strategicmarketingandevents.com. My website's under construction, so if you go and you don't see it all the way built, that's why it says under construction. But my Facebook is up and live as well, so you can message me there also. And meetings are better. If I'm in the office, I'm happy to meet with somebody, but sometimes I'm out on calls, so they might come by and I'm not there. It's just because I'm out in meetings.
You're, as you mentioned, on the St. Francis County Fair Board. Talk a little bit about some of the cool stuff that we're going to see coming up at the St. Francis County Fair this year.
We're really excited. We're working hard on the fair this year. Of course, we have our carnival rides, tons of kids games, all of the 4-H events going on all week long. But we're really super excited this year to bring monster trucks, including Bigfoot.
Yes.
And even Jeff Kreckler's truck will be in there as well. And then as well on Friday night, we're going to have side-by-side racing. Yeah. So it's going to be a big motorsports event. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Side-by-side racing. I've never seen that. Everybody's got a side-by-side these days, it seems like.
So side-by-side racing and monster trucks. So you can gear up and get revved up, come out to the fair. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then on Saturday night, we have Chris Cagle and Cole Goodwin is opening for him. So, Chris Cagle's kind of a heritage country artist. He has, tons of super fans. Great. You know what I mean? It'll be a great show. And then we have truck pulls going on that night as well, back on the pull tracks. So we're excited about this year's fair and, fairs to come. So we hope everyone comes out and joins us for the county fair. You'll be excited. We have we have a ton of vendors and food trucks, so it's going to be a really good time out there for anybody.
151st ever St. Francis County Fair will be happening the end of July, first weekend of August. Had a daughter graduate this year?
I did. My
Yeah?
youngest.
Your
My
youngest?
youngest.
How'd
They're
that make you
all
feel?
older now. And yeah, we won't talk how old.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, because that shows how old I am. So my baby graduated, and she's actually been focused on marketing her whole life.
Yeah?
So she actually opened her own business at like 8 or 9 and was making money because she could sew, and so she created Kay's Custom Sewing and sewed rice bags. So she's working with me this summer. She'll go off to college for marketing and business management this year, but she's already a superstar in her own right. You know, I've never seen a kid that can create something. You know, she does graphics and all these things. She's a fabulous writer. So, you know what I mean? You need a good storyteller, someone to sit down and help you. She's an amazing writer right out of the gate. But AI is a part of life nowadays, and
Yeah.
she can use that and create some of the most amazing stuff as well. So yeah, I'm pretty blessed. But yeah, last
Where's
one
she going
home.
to college?
She's gonna go ahead and start at Mac.
Okay.
She's got a lot of offers, but she wanted to be home. She wanted to kind of work through college to get
Sure.
started before she goes off and looks at what she wants to do for you know what I mean, her bachelor's degree.
Right.
And so she wants to stay close to home with family and
That's good.
and go on to Mac and work with the agency and work with local clients as well. And she's kind of all in. She wants to jump right in. So I'm like,
Kind of like her mama.
yeah,
Yeah.
get the degree
Right.
and work. You know, you can do it.
What are the
So-
other kids doing?
Oh my gosh, Kirsten is actually the district manager of Rhodes Convenience
wow,
Stores.
okay.
So if you know Kirsten Smith, that's my oldest, and she's got, you know, a family and kids, and so I'm a Mimi for a long time.
That's what you go by is Mimi?
Mimi, yes,
Yeah.
because to me, it was
Grandma's
way
offensive to some people,
Oh,
isn't it?
when I was real young, when she first had the kids, I thought I was way too young to be grandma.
Right.
So when we'd go places, I'd kind of try to pass them off like my own, and she'd be like, "Mom, stop doing that." And
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Well, I'm not really old enough to be a grandma." But they're super cool kids. I love them. I'm Mimi. I'm not like baking cookies and stuff. I want to do other stuff. I'll take them to concert. You know,
Right,
I will
yeah.
bake them cookies, but I wasn't
work on
that
your marketing
grandma in the
campaign.
kitchen baking a cake every day like some people are blessed. Like my son Kobe, his grandma, man, oh my God, Barb, she would just bake cakes. She's just the best grandma on earth. But I hope I'm a good grandma, but I'm probably not.
You're doing fine.
And yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you guys.
Chastity Corbin, Strategic Marketing. Find her on Facebook. And if you have any questions about how to spend your advertising budget effectively, Chastity will let you know. I feel like we asked you like one question and you...
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's what we want in podcast guests.
I'm long-winded. Well, I'm really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt to just sit down and talk. It's no obligation. You know, we sit down and, you know what I mean? You can ask me
Yeah.
questions and I'll ask you questions. I want to do some stuff with the chamber on some marketing seminars. And yes, you have the ones where you're like set up, well, here's podcasts, here's radio, here's Google, here's Facebook. But we've thought about, I've talked to some of them over there to see if we could set up something that's just really a Q&A. Like, come in with your questions. Where are you at? How do you
Right.
identify your audience? What, you know what I mean? How do you build your brand identity? You know, what is a KPI? What's an ROI? What are all these terms that I should know if I'm spending money? And so I think that'd be a lot of fun and maybe help some of the local businesses.
There you go. Strategic Marketing. Check them out. Chastity Corbin, our guest on the Parkland Podcast. Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com, 431-4387. Heimberger Construction has done some amazing work in not just the Parkland, but the region.
Yeah, they're all over the Midwest. They do high quality work using the best materials, and best of all, you've got Jennifer Heimberger, who kind of headlines things and gears everything up. She'll sit with you. She'll find out what your plans are, what your wants are, what you're building toward, and she will get you the right products, the right building. So if you're adding on, if you're making a new addition, Heimberger Construction, they're the folks you want to see.
And they sell Butler buildings because they are the best metal building system on the market and the only building that has the pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. HeimbergerConstruction.com has all the examples locally of the great work that they have done, and the list just keeps growing and growing. If you need construction work done, you need to contact Heimberger Construction today since 1978. Again, learn more at heimbergerconstruction.com.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Let's talk music now on the Parkland Podcast. We talk about songs we like, and then we talk about different kinds of musical prompts where we try to name as many songs as we can that fit into a certain, I don't know, I wouldn't say category, but some kind of prompt, if you will. And then we're going to do some song lyrics trivia during this segment as well. Got a song of the week? Any song you want to spotlight?
It was a song I was listening to on the way out here. It's called Shine from Collective Soul.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't realize it was the debut single from their debut album until just now. But I remember going somewhere with my buddy Mike Zeracor about 30 some odd years ago, and I said, man, who is this? They are good. I says, that's Collective Soul. They're a new group. And the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. So I ended up buying their first 3 or 4 albums, and they are fantastic. But Shine really sets the tone for the rest of their career. They are awesome.
A lot of young people are familiar with that song too because that that's a TikTok now.
Oh, didn't know
there's
that.
a lot of videos they make with that music bed. So because like my son was like, oh, I know this song. I was like, how do you know Collective Soul? And so that's how I learned about it. You learn things by talking to people. My pick, and this was suggested by Jim Whaley, my father-in-law. He says, what about the Cowboy Song by Thin Lizzy? That's my favorite Thin Lizzy tune, no doubt.
Cowboy.
Somewhere in between, the boys are back in town and Jailbreak. Phil Lynott and drummer Brian Downey wrote this song, and I think it's fantastic. Roll Me Over and Roll Me Away and all that good stuff. Great tune from Ireland's owned Thin Lizzy. Probably the third best band to ever come out of Ireland, behind U2 and
U2. I forgot about U2.
Yeah, U2's number 1. Sinead O'Connor, probably pretty famous. Some people might like Thin Lizzy more than Sinead, but I feel like I'm missing one. I'm missing a big time Irish band. But anyways, that'll be another story for another day. Let's do the prompt this week. Songs that have a female's name in the title.
Now, I try to do this all off the top of my head.
Yes, I bring up Google so that way I don't forget something.
But I came up with the Rolling Stones and Angie.
Yes, Angie.
Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young with Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great one.
Lady Madonna from the Beatles.
Right.
Richie Valens with O'Donna.
O'Donna's a great one, yeah.
Peggy Sue from Buddy Holly. In honor of his passing, the Beach Boys, and Help Me Rhonda, Help Me Rhonda.
There has not been a person named Rhonda who's not had that song sung to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then there's Gloria. You can choose Laura Branigan or Van Morrison.
Ooh, both good. Both good. Let's see. What about Annie's Song by John Denver?
Excellent.
It's been done. Like Kenny Loggins. Was it Loggins and Messina that did Annie's Song too?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I just
it was
know
one
John
of the two.
Denver.
Yeah. Billie Jean, Michael Jackson.
She is
she's just a girl.
Yeah.
That's not a guy named Billie Jean. You mentioned Simon and Garfunkel. I'm going to go with Cecilia.
Love that song.
The percussion in that song. I don't know what they're playing. It's pots and pans or something. And it sounds so good and such a cool song. How about Dexy's Midnight Runners?
Come on, Eileen.
Yes. let me tell you a Roy Henson joke off the air about that song. One of the things he came up with that I thought was fantastic. You ever heard Tom Jones's version of Delilah? Oh,
yes,
my, that's a song. You mentioned the Beatles. They had so many. Eleanor Rigby, lovely Mita Maid.
Mita Maid, yes.
And many, many more. Let's see, Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. A lot of people like the Goo Goo Dolls. You mentioned we were talking about Collective Soul. Did you get into the Goo Goo Dolls?
I like that song.
Iris, that was one of their big hits. I saw them in concert with Sugar Ray. My girlfriend at the time drugged me to that show, and she really enjoyed it, so I was okay with it. Dolly Parton, Jolene, one of the greatest songs of all time. Take the song Jolene and slow it down, and it sounds like Chris Isaak. I'm going to play that for you after we're done with the podcast. I don't want to play it during the podcast because it might send a copyright infringement. But slow lean, as they call it, sounds amazing. So I'm going to play that for you when we're done. Layla, Eric Clapton. I guess that was technically Derek and the Dominoes.
Yes,
that did that. Rod Stewart, Maggie May, always a great song. The Knack and My Sharona.
A song I hated growing up, but now
really?
I kind of like it.
I love the guitar solo in it.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's got a great beat. Let's see. Rhiannon from Fleetwood Mac. Rosanna from Toto. Do you know who that was written about?
Yeah, the Rosanna Arquette.
Yes. And I think it worked. She actually went out on a date with him after she heard that song, which good for him. The Police and Roxanne. You don't have to turn on the red light. And the list can go on and on. Sweet Caroline, Valerie, Carrie, Allison. My wife's name is Kayla, so I Googled to see if there was a song about Kayla. And apparently Steven Sanchez has a song called Kayla. So I'll have to play that for her, I guess. There we go.
Kayla.
Yes.
Wow, 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 wow.
What do you got for song lyric trivia? What do you got?
All right, here you go. I'm trying to make these
here.
a little tougher because
Good.
you're pretty good at it. A shot rings out in the Memphis sky. Free at last. They took your life. They could not take your pride.
In the Name
In
of
the name
Love.
of love, yes.
Also called Pride. Pride in the Name of Love, I believe. It's got one of those few. If we ever do songs with semicolons, that'll be one that we pick there.
I love that song.
You
That's
too,
my favorite
absolutely.
U2 song. Hey, I was just a skinny lad. Never knew no good from bad. But I knew life before I left my nursery.
That would be thanks to the good old Fat Bottom Girls
Yes.
of Queen.
Left alone with my big fat nanny. All right, and last but not least, I can tell I'm going to have to make these more difficult. Lines form on my face and hands. Lines form on the left and right. I'm in the middle of life.
I'm 18.
Boom!
Alice Cooper.
My brother Tom would appreciate that one. He's
Yeah.
an Alice Cooper guy.
There was a show, I can't remember the name of the show, and Alice Cooper has like a radio show. It's pretty good too. I like Alice Cooper's radio show. He's like a syndicated radio show host. But anyways, there was a show, and I can't remember what it was called, but it had anyways, I sound like it had the one guy and the one girl, and that one guy was really famous. But anyways, there was one part where they like guys sang that song 18, and Alice Cooper uses that as like almost like an hourly drop during his radio show.
Alice Cooper goes to church every weekend. I would just love to be at that church to watch an 80-year-old man with hair down below his collars and makeup on.
I know, and I can't believe he still goes after what happened with him and Reverend Smithy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he's recognized him and
Punched him in the nose. So it's we always wonder too: is the Reverend Smithy no more Mr. Nice Guy, or is Alice Cooper no more Mr. Nice Guy in that part?
I don't know.
It could
That's
go
a good
either
question.
way. It could go either way. Who do we have coming up on next week's episode of the Parkland Podcast?
Working out details, but we're hoping to have some folks from Help the Hungry here, and we're going to arrange to get some folks from Babbling About Broadway on. We're hoping for next week's show, but we're working on that.
We'll see. We might do some surprise guests too. I got one surprise guest, and they have not been able to make it at all yet. But I'm hoping real soon they'll come in here, and you will enjoy interviewing them.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. Thanks to NBA official Natalie Sago. What a great interview that was. And Chastity Corbin telling us about some marketing. Always a great time. I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay cool, and we'll see you next week on the Parkland Podcast.